listening to the Dudes Beer Talk Podcast, a deeper look into the psyches of dudes who have opinions on stuff and things. And they also like beer. Dudes Beer Talk. Shamalama ding dong.
Consuming alcohol, beer.
Ding dong, a langa ding dong. I am the lion.
Ding dong dong, ding dong dong, ling dong, ding ding dong.
Bubble ding dong.
Hello, this evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you're watching this thing.
Namaste.
We are the highly enlightened, eccentric millionaire hosts of your podcast.
We are.
Eccentric millionaire, highly enlightened being Kevin, host.
And eccentric, non-millionaire, highly enlightened being host, Scott.
Ish, kind of a thing.
Yes.
So, anywho, we are fat rich. We rule the world. We just do this for our leisure. Everybody loves us.
This is true.
We're pretty much the smartest people who were ever born.
But everybody can't love us without our producer. So why don't you introduce our highly enlightened producer?
Okay, a little bit of story behind the producer, just a little bit. So we had a three-legged mule.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the three-legged mule had an aneurysm. And its ass exploded, and it was really quite messy. But
it also had an abscess in its leg, so we had to cut the leg off.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. So I mean, we ended up taking it out, and kind of putting out its misery a little bit there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were looking for a new producer, and actually, to tell you the truth, we were looking for someone to scrub the toilets.
Yeah.
And so we went to the local, orphan house. Because slavery is illegal, but
don't you mean the orphanarium? That's what
the orphanarium. The orphanarium. So we had the local orphanarium, and because slavery is illegal, but there's still orphans, and
that's true.
You can buy them for whatever. So anyway, we're looking around, and we're just like, this kid sucks, and this kid sucks.
Yeah.
This kid sucks. Ugly
really
children.
very sad.
Very ugly
Unfortunate.
children. And then at a certain point, we ran into this one child, and her name happened to be Moya, and we're all ding 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 ding. Since we're enlightened beings, we realized this had to be a sign.
It was Kismet.
From the infinite creator, from the mighty turtle. And so
yes.
So we turned to the owner of the orphans and said, how much for the Moya?
How much for the Moya?
And the owner of the orphan said, well, what do you got? And I said, well, I got this 6-pack. Well, there's 5 beers left.
I've got 2 shillings and a 6-pack.
And it was Budweiser Light. And so he said, deal. So we purchased us a kid. We purchased an orphan.
I think she's 15 at this point.
15. It's an orphan. It's basically slave labor.
Apparently, she also brings this boyfriend named Devin too.
Ooh. Devin is also an orphan, but not a slave.
No.
So anyway, so we had to so we keep Moya in the closet. We feed her fish heads once a week. We take very good care of Moya. Very good care of Moya, and we give her a little bit of cat food. But anyway, it took us a couple weeks to get her trained up to push the buttons and stuff. But anyway, you want to say hi, Moya?
Hi.
Yes, she's not.
No, that wasn't good enough, Moya. We are your fathers. Say hi with enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
Hello.
Yay! Our producer orphan Moya.
Namaste.
So what the hell are we doing? What am I introducing? Am I doing the beer?
Well, you know what? No, I think that I'm going to do the beer.
Okay, so Scotty LJ Hottie over here is going to introduce the.
We still haven't freaking figured out what LJ means after 10 years. I'm thinking like Long Johns or something. Okay, so this is interesting. I think
that Scott Long Johns Silver.
Yeah, I think we've done this before, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. When I got it, I was like, I like that beer. So
Deschutes Brewery, Obsidian Stout, Bend, Oregon. Love it.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I just realized?
Is that how it's pronounced, Deschutes?
Yeah.
It's not Duches?
No, it's Deschutes.
It's not Douches?
Deschutes was a
I think it's pronounced Douche.
I learned this in psychology in my degree, but think about this. I just realized this. I said Bend, Oregon. You say Bend, Oregon. So if I say...
Wow, bend on Oregon there. I don't know, go through your mind.
Sounds like you're saying bend over again. Namaste.
Oh, the enlightened. Oh.
So let's crack this open.
Okay.
Bend, Oregon. Kevin?
All right. Cheers. All right, what we got up in here?
Cheers, Moya. Welcome to the family.
I dig it.
I love stout. So
I just dig it.
This was a given right here, okay?
Yeah, this is a no-brainer, man.
And I'm almost feeling bad about drinking this right out of the bottle because you're not supposed to drink stouts out of the bottle.
I know you're supposed to pour it in the glass, let it breathe, enjoy the way it looks. It's just all gorgeous.
But it's really good.
Yeah,
I mean, what can I say about this? It's a stout. It's Obsidian stout. It's from one of my favorite stout regions in freaking microbreweries. It's Oregon. Cheers. You guys rocked it. It's good.
Love Oregon, man. Love Oregon.
Deschutes, Obsidian stout.
I almost want to go work for you guys.
I would totally. Kevin, what are we talking about tonight, man?
Okay, so tonight, in case you hadn't picked up on it, so Scott and I are the two actually most enlightened people who have ever lived.
Just ask us, we'll tell you.
Just ask us, we'll tell you. We're very, very special.
Yes.
And so, what we're going to talk about are it's actually the potentials, but essentially the destiny of mankind. Dun, dun, dun.
What say you, Moya?
What say ye? What say ye, orphan Moya?
Says, what do you have to say about that? Being the 15-year-old orphan, she's a bit slow.
We're going to have to whip her a little more. And
we are.
Get her trained up, We're
going to have to, starve her more, too. But anyway.
So the enlightened ones, Scott and I, we're going to talk about, so there is there's no predestiny and that kind of thing. It's life is what you make it. Life is what you create, and it's the micro and the macro. So what you create for your life, you are your own destiny creator, and same goes for humanity. But there are several different ways they could go. So enlightened Scott, what do you think is the most likely collection? What is the most likely result from the collection of choices from the billions of human beings? Where's humanity taking itself?
Well, if I were to give you a short answer off the top of my head, I would say that we're fucking doomed.
We are fucking cliff.
Doomed.
Get yours now, ladies and germs.
Ladies and germs, I was the conservative person for the longest time. I wasn't your freaking global warming / everybody's gonna die.
And now he's part of the fucking tall party.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. I'm really worried about what's happening right now, whether we're at a hiccup in history or not. I'm wondering, where we're going to go from here. I mean, we've got Drumpf in the White House. We've got
douchebag.
Yeah, we've got the other micro penis on the other side of the
Rocket
ocean.
Boy.
Rocket Boy, dude.
Rocket Man.
I'm so lonely.
So lonely.
But so if we can manage to get past these two psychos, we may have a chance. But that doesn't stop the fact that there is a gross overpopulation, and there's
7 and change, man.
7 and change. So in a recent article I read, it was predicted that by 2040 we're gonna have 10 billion change.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't actually know how math works, I know there's a lot of you. A billion is 1,000 million, so that's 7. We're well over 7,000 million human beings on the planet.
Yeah,
that's a lot of poop.
That is a lot of poop.
That's a lot of poop.
But here's the other thing about that. So because of the poop and all of the gases going in, if global warming is indeed a real thing affected by man, which I'm sure it is to an extent, a good extent, that means that by 2040 or 2050, the sun is going to grow so warm around a certain region of the world that's highly populated because of all of the pollution they put out. They're going to have to move. So what we're doing is we're compacting the human race into areas that aren't too hot to survive. Now, if we don't get our shit together, that's going to be done. We're done. Now, if Stephen Hawking has his way, we will have already gone to Mars. So basically, the other predictions were that we're going to have our first manned mission to Mars in 2040, and that's the first manned Genesis civilization mission, which is kind of cool. But if we're going to go terraform Mars, we better get our asses in gear because we're going to be toasty on Earth pretty soon. And I don't want to sound like a total hippie because I'm not, even though I live in the mountains. But
hippie land.
A little worried about that.
Well, I have kind of my own little theory. It's actually kind of a question mark I have in my mind about that, right? So if humanity continues to degrade the planet, and we're absolutely affecting the atmosphere, we're absolutely affecting the atmosphere. And I said we're absolutely affecting the atmosphere.
Okay.
I studied a lot of this stuff in college. It's absolutely taking place. I mean, for over geologic time, the only time the atmosphere changed this quickly, this drastically, was from impact events, meteors and asteroids, and things of that particular nature.
Well, and right now we're supposed to be in an ice age right now.
Sort of. We're actually in an interglacial period. But I don't want to that's not going to be a whole nother topic. I mean, I know a lot about this and all that kind of thing. But here's the thing that I wonder. If humanity continues to degrade the planet, the humanity will actually end up having to go underground. on the planet. And so the thing about going to Mars is Mars sucks. There's no atmosphere. It's colder and shit. So
how cold is shit?
It's pretty damn cold.
Yeah?
It's like ridiculous. No atmosphere. It's very, very cold. Like you'd freeze.
Yeah. Okay.
Solid as soon as you were outside. If you were on a ship that landed, you stepped outside. It's just like a lot of the other worlds. It would be a race to see what kills you first if you stepped on the outside. So something I've always kind of wondered is like, is if humanity is destined to leave the planet, like, so if there really is an ordained destiny for humanity, I've always kind of thought, well, you have a thumb, which means you can manipulate materials, and you got a brain, which means that you can be kind of smart, so that you could actually like leave the planet. Well, it actually would be quite beneficial to the learning curve of humanity. If humanity need to learn how to live on these dead rocks, i.e. all the other planets around, it would be a pretty good training ground to completely devastate the planet we're on, and have to live underground and figure out how to live here.
Yeah, right.
Of that nature, and then as humanity could actually learn how to heal the planet, and that could be good training for terraforming. So I actually often
So we're going to Star Trek 4?
No, well, this would be thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future, because I don't think humanity is going to avoid a mass die-off. One way or another, 7 billion change, and for how irresponsible we're being with consuming resources and warfare and just all that, for how irresponsible we're being. I don't think we're going to be able to avoid a mass die-off. So, but I really wonder, it's like, is humanity actually one way or another going to actually make it out to the stars and take life outside of our solar system? Because our solar system is relatively young and relatively short-lived. So there are star systems in our galaxy that are like 10 billion years old that actually some scientists are saying will last for 1 trillion years.
Trillion.
Yeah, for 1 trillion
years.
So there actually are star systems, there are planetary solar systems that have been around a lot longer than we've been here, and that will be around a lot longer than we will be here. And will humanity go out and populate, Or is humanity just going to be a blip on the radar of Earth? The Earth is going to be like, that was a good experiment, but you kind of set off nukes and you covered it in shit, and you killed my polar bears, and fuck you.
I wonder.
Fuck you. Get off my planet.
Let's pause for a second. Moya, speak up. What do you think is going to happen with the Earth?
I don't know.
That is the wisest thing I've ever heard anybody ever say.
That's a wise orphan, Moya's worth every one of those 5 fucking beers.
Maybe we throw her a couple extra pieces of cat food tonight.
Yeah, it's just a few, we don't want to spoil her, man.
No, we don't.
We
really don't.
We don't want to spoil her.
But okay, but then fine. That's one scenario. But other scenarios. What about the next evolution of humankind? If we're able to pass these jokers in power these days, what does the next evolution look like? We've spoken about this before, but I'm curious. When does it happen? What does it look like? What does it mean for humanity?
Well, that's a very good question, because there have been several types of human species on the planet. There was Homo habilis, and there was the Neanderthals, and there's actually several others. I forget the scientific name. There's Erectus homo. That was an actual species.
Homo erectus.
Homo erected. Erected homo.
That homo is erect.
Yeah, but anyway, there's a little hobbit species and all this kind of stuff. But it's what does happen with humanity? I mean, does humanity just collapse? Because the societies have fallen. Every major society in history has fallen. They peak and they fall. Yeah. Right now we have a global society. Is the global society going to peak and fall? But ultimately,
really, do you think it's a global society when you have disparate societies within that global society wreaking havoc across the whole world, or what? You think that's still, considered a global society?
Well, I would consider it a global society, and I mean, the only reason, don't get me wrong, there's all these different factions and stuff, but commerce, trade, warfare, interactions happening with all of these different groups.
This is true.
And that's kind of what I mean. So it's like we have we have a global civilization, and we have the different religions and the different countries and the different philosophies and the different different political systems, but we're all still very, very intertwined.
Yeah.
So, but I really wonder about that. Will humanity collapse and then eventually become, quite frankly, more mature? Because as a species, we're pretty immature. There's still all this warfare. There's still all this rape. There's still all this greed. There's
Well, depending depending on how
Donald Trump's
humanity
president.
collapses, I don't know if maturity is a factor, because basically if humanity collapses via nuclear war, it's going to basically wipe out everybody in civilization in terms of, major populated society.
Yeah, right.
And then the ones that are going to be left are the ones in the freaking Ozarks and shit, dude. The ones that have one tooth. No offense to you Ozarks people.
The Ozarkians.
The Ozarkians.
But the Ozarkians could then repopulate the whole species.
Then we have idiocracy.
Exactly. Well, we're already there.
Brondo!
Totally bitchin' big ass fries! If you haven't seen Idiocracy, see Idiocracy. It's where we're going.
This is the repetitive theme in this podcast. The repetitive theme,
yeah, absolutely. But that's the interesting point, though, about the whole destiny of humanity. So we've kind of explored a little bit about is humanity maybe go out to the stars? It's for a little bit about is humanity going to become a different species? Grow into something else? Maybe more intelligent, maybe more from a macro standpoint, mature, or is humanity just going to wipe itself out? Or is humanity just going to die off, some other way? And I think it's a very good point if we have a nuclear war.
Yeah.
That's
a nuclear war?
Nuclear. I think that's probably if we really wanted to just wipe the fucker out, if we really just wanted to wipe out humanity, that's probably the best way to do it.
Nuclear war and nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter.
These are all good questions, and not any questions that I think we're going to solve in 15 plus minutes on the podcast. So what I would say to you all, give it some thought. Where do you want to be in 30 years? Do you think that humanity is going to subsist?
I have one other theory. Okay, so we have humanity wiping itself out. We have humanity, going to the stars in all these different ways. So on the theme of evolution, right? So we have learned from the wisdom of such places as Marvel Comics that
we have.
Radiation creates superheroes and supervillains. So if there's a nuclear war and enough people survive, we might have a bunch of people with powers and shit.
We might have
running around the planet.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Might be like Kryptonians and shit.
You know what I'm saying? You have Fantastic Four. You have the Incredible Hulk.
I want tentacles, dude. Fucking tentacles would be rad. But anyway,
no, totally, dude. I want tentacles too. I want to be a sitar.
That'd be awesome.
Centaur. That's Centaur.
Well, food for thought. You just want the cock part of the centaur, so shut up.
Fuck yeah, dude! Hell yeah!
On that note, people,
saw through that in a heartbeat.
It's been fun. Welcome to 2018. Subscribe to our podcast, and we've been Dudes Beer Talk. You've been great. This has been a presentation of the Dudes Beers Talk podcast. The views expressed by the host may not actually reflect the views of the hosts or anyone who has any legal authority or actual money to afford a lawsuit. So chill the hell out. After all, there was beer involved.